This lady called Vera, her TikTok's handle is Bubune7, has exposed her landlord, who happens to be a pastor. A pastor, according to this lady, when she goes to work, the landlord opens her door, enters her room, and has been sniffing her pantia, her drawers, aka drawers. Yes, I don't want to be, her panties, The landlord always a pastor. That is what he has been doing. Now the intotos, the mixed totos, and the ex-totos of the story. Now this lady is called Vera. Her TikTok handle is Bobone. Now she moved into an apartment where the apartment she moved into, the landlord, gave her keys. And when the landlord gave her keys, the landlord gave her 2 keys instead of 5 keys. Now according to her, the landlord said he needs a spare key to her room, so that in case the lady misplaced the key, she can come to the landlord for a spare key.
You on why you are giving me 2 keys out of the 4, and you are making it known to me that that is your room. You give me 2 keys, and then the other 2 you keep it in case my key now, then you can use that to replace it. But the question is, I know that I'm a renty baby, and then I'm moving out. Anything that I've damaged during my time, I'm supposed to replace it. It includes the lock. So why are you giving me 2 keys?
Now let me tell you why this is a red flag. Under no circumstance should you rent an apartment and the landlord should tell you that he has a spare key. It is wrong. Never take it. Never take that. If the key, you take all the keys. If the keys get missing, call a carpenter to replace the locks for you. This is also to landlords who have spare keys. Listen, if something gets missing in her room, you the landlord will be held responsible. This is also an advice for landlords who have clean intentions just to have spare keys for their tenants. Do not do that. Do not. Moving forward. So this lady was like, she and the tenants for the house, they are not cool. Because, even though they are Gen Zs, the landlord has painted a perception that somebody is a witch, somebody is a witch, somebody is a this. The landlord they support the tenants give themselves. So because of that, the tenants don't even talk to each other.
One of the guys made a statement to me saying he wants to be my friend, but because of the landlord, he cannot be my friend, because they were warned when they came that none of them can befriend any of the girls on the compound. It didn't sit right with me. However, me, I don't do friendship. Talk less of even talking to people in my house, which I think is a bad idea one way or the other.
So one day, one tenant. So this Vera girl, let's call her tenant 1, and another tenant 2. So one day, tenant 2 approached Vera and told Vera that, Charlie, do you know that when you go to work, the landlord has been entering your room? And then tenant 1, which is Vera, was like, really? Whoa, they enter my room. Okay, thank you very much for the information. So Vera decided to plant a camera in her room. It's a chamber and hall. So she planted a camera in the hall. So she was at work, and then she had a notification of movement. CCTV cameras, when there's a movement, you get a notification. So she had a notification that, Charlie, somebody has entered the room. So she checked and realized that was the landlord, and the landlord moved from the hall to the bedroom. So when she saw this, she didn't say anything. She decided to buy another camera and put in the bedroom, secret camera. She put another secret camera in the bedroom. So she went to work again, and the landlord entered. She got a notification, and then she saw the landlord entering the bedroom, and she watched the camera and saw that notification too is there, monitoring what the landlord was doing. That the landlord was there sniffing her pantia. The landlord was sniffing the pantia.
That somebody has entered. So I checked the camera, and it was the landlord. He went straight into, it's a holding chamber. He went straight into my bedroom. I did not understand what he went to do there. So the second day, I decided to get an extra camera and put in my bedroom as well. I got a notification again, and then he entered the room, and to my surprise, this man goes into my room, searched through my things, pick my undies, and sniffs them. It wasn't a joke, and it wasn't funny.
So Vera, tenant 1, went to inform tenant 2 that, Charlie, the thing you told me is true. I've watched CCTV, and to see, say, the landlord, they enter my room. When he enters my room, he has been sniffing my panties. And tenant 2 told tenant 1 that, Charlie, what you are saying is very true. Now, tenant 3, a third person has come inside. Tenant 3 came to tell me that the landlord promised me that if I sleep with him, he will not let me pay rent and all those things. And then the lady, tenant 3, agreed, slept with the landlord. Now, tenant 3 is pregnant, and the landlord is threatening tenant 3 to remove the pregnancy And all these things are screenshots.
Happened again. That was when the lady also came up with some screenshots from the third lady, okay? And in the chat, the third lady, it was like, Onene, I have something to do. And the man has promised her free rent. Apparently, he sleeps with the girls and then tell them you will give them free rent for the next year when they are in. So right now, he's like, the girl has gotten pregnant and is threatening the girl to abort it. Either than that, he's going to like cast her out and a lot of things. So the girl feel like she hasn't been treated properly, and her boyfriend too has found out and they've broken up. Adani Bebre issue.
So tenants 1, 2, and 3 are planning evidence. They are packing the evidence so that they can report the landlord, who happens to be a pastor, to the police. Now, mind you, tenants 3, she had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend found out about her affair with the landlord, and then the boyfriend has broken up with tenant 3, and then the boyfriend too, the girl is pregnant for the landlord, so definitely the relationship there has to end. See, she gave some juicy gist. Said the landlord says that the house, nobody should call a plumber, a carpenter. If something happens, if you have an issue, they have their own carpenter and plumber. Nobody should put wallpaper, nothing. The wall is white. Don't touch anything on the wall. If there's a problem, call the landlord. He will find somebody to come and fix it for you.
Every month, he's going to come into our room twice to double check if the walls and everything, his locks, everything are intact. So everybody was protesting. That was when I got pissed and I was like, are you trying to cover up for coming into my room? Then he said, what do I mean by that? And I was like, this is a video evidence of you in my room. Why do you enter my room when I am not around?
See, the juice of the story, see, there's more juice to this story. But I'm going to put it on YouTube for you to watch. So if you're already on YouTube, continue the video to the end. Those of you on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere, please go to YouTube and go and watch the full gist. Now, this story is still under investigation. They are still packing evidence, and however the story goes, we'll bring you information on how it has landed. But as at now, this is what I've been able to gather on the story so far. But as usual, we are working behind closed doors to bring you more into those. What do you say? But guys, what do you think about the situation so far? I mean, share your thoughts in the comment section. In the comment section there, you and I will vibe for them more, and it is very important. But continue the story. Listen to what she had to say.
I went back to the lady in the morning and I told her, that was on Friday, and Saturday, I told her that this is what has happened again. That was when the lady also came up with some screenshots from the third lady, okay? And in the chat, the third lady, it was like, Onene, I have something to do. And the man has promised her free rent. Apparently, he sleeps with the girls and then tell them you will give them free rent for the next year when they are in. So right now, he's like, the girl has gotten pregnant and is threatening the girl to abort it. Either than that, he's going to like cast her out and a lot of things. So the girl feel like she hasn't been treated properly, and her boyfriend too has found out and they've broken up. Adani Bebre issue. So the lady was like, this is another evidence from the other person so that we can go and accuse him. We can go and report him. Then the third lady was like, okay, so she was in her room and then the man entered. So Otisa gas sent early, and since we are girls, he's coming to double check on it. Now, Uncle will fix it, Amano. And I'm so really, and I'll say yes. So she like videoed it with her phone when she realized that it was the man that was entering. So when the man entered, no, or checking in gas navy, and then the man was like, hey, why do you always wear these nika things in the house, and spanked her? And she was like, oh, daddy, why? I was like, no, Akwalaya idea was so what don't do that. You are in a pastor's house. So she kept that, and then she gave me the video evidence of the man so that we can go and then confront him before we move to the police station. And I said, okay. Fast forward, Saturday anopa, I was in my room. I go to work on Saturdays too. But this particular Saturday, because we wanted to confront them and I took an off, I was in the room. That's when I realized somebody is opening my door as early as 6 a.m. So I hid myself in the, the back of the door. That was when he opened and then he entered. I wanted him to enter. And so Remuno, and I may ye me TPA and I'll say, hey, oh, And I was like, please, is there any reason why you are in my room? And he was like, he can hear the shower flowing. So he came to her, why don't I? And I was like, I'm in this room. How can my shower be flowing and like I am not going to put it off? He said the only reason why he has to come there is because we are girls. So if it's like this kind of things, he has to always check on us. And I said, Bibi to me. And I was like, I'm perfectly fine. He can go. My boyfriend called me and he made me know that, do you know your man has been doing something and I'm okay with it? And I was like, why? He said for some time now, he just randomly sent me photos and he's like, and this person came to visit your girl. And I'm like, really? He said yes. So I told him to forward all the photos to me. My brother came to visit me. He's at the top. When you enter the compound, he's the first person at the top. Before you take the runabout and so he takes pictures of everybody that is coming to visit someone. So he'll be monitoring. If you are heading to person A's place, then he keeps those evidences. And maybe if you realize you have a partner or your boyfriend comes over, and he has also made it known that nobody can come and stay with you, not even for a week. Like you cannot have people in your room, not even for a week. The maximum people he has set in the room is 2 girls. That is it. So I was like, okay, his reason is the place is white. The whole compound is white. The walls are white. He doesn't want kids. Was when he called a meeting and he was like, I don't know whether he wanted to cover up for me catching him in entering my room. And he was like, some of us are not keeping our rooms the way we are supposed to keep it. He has been to 3 or 4 people's room and it's like he doesn't like it. So in that context, every month he's going to come into our room twice to double check if the walls and everything, his locks, everything are intact. So everybody was protesting. That was when I got pissed and I was like, are you trying to cover up for coming into my room? Then he said, what do I mean by that? And I was like, this is a video evidence of you in my room. Why do you enter my room when I am not around? Then he made the same excuse that I have been leaving my tap on. He has even told the other guys that this is what has been happening. And they all were like, but you two, why do you leave your tap on? I was like, so you guys actually believe I leave my tap on? I don't leave my tap on. Then I showed the other video of the man sitting in my room sniffing my undies. That was when the other lady too spoke up, and then the third one also spoke up, and then there was not knowing there is a fourth one also in the house that he is ejecting from the house, and she also spoke up. Then the only guy that was left in the house was like, so the only reason why you are allowing girls in your house is because you want to have something to do with them. So the guy was like, no, if this is the whole issue, then on a police station. So we all went to the Agbogba police station to report the issue, and then they came for the man. The reason why I am sharing this is maybe somebody is going to be oblivious like me, and you go to a space regardless of how stranded you are. Please, I beg you, a house that the landlord is in and is single, avoid it. Because if not for God, or if not that I was smart enough to find my way around, I don't know what would happen to me. Because the third girl, for instance, who was quiet, he has even been abusing her, or whenever the lady threatens to speak up and those kind of things. And he is a pastor. I beg you people, be safe out there. Thank you.